Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you hear it. It's time. Welcome back. It's another day of G1 League action brought to you, of course, by Beyond the Summit, made possible by the G1 League. Their website is g1.2p.com, and if you want to support them, you should be watching the games from there. There's lots of interesting content. They've done tons of translated interviews, all available in English with the Chinese players, as well as some of the Southeast Asian ones, too. So lots of interesting content there. Plus, you can watch the streams, and it really helps support them. Every view counts. They're tracking them closely, and they told me they need more viewers on their website. So you can still watch the stream there. Go check it out. But anyway, it's Rattlesnake Gaming versus LGD Gaming, LGD International, of course. This is going to be a best of three. A crucial match for these teams, especially for LGD International, who are currently sitting at 0-1 in the group. If they lose this game, they're not necessarily eliminated, but they are damn close, and they're pretty much counting on Orange not to beat LGD China at that point. With all that being said, I'm LD. I'm joined here by Luminous.
Hey, thanks for having me. And speaking of translated contents, there is also LGD Xiao 8's dating show with English subtitles. That's somewhere on YouTube. I recommend you check that one out. It's definitely a chuckle to watch through. But we got a pick and ban on our face, or on our hands here. Lifestealer, Lone Druid, and Rubik's going to be the first pick up here at LG International. Meanwhile, Magnus, Shadow Demon, and Leshrac for Rattlesnake Gaming. The big thing for me to point out is that Lifestealer and Lone Druid is kind of the winning combo here for LG, and I don't think they have lost the game when they have these two heroes up in front. And, well, let's see if Rattlesnake have the damage output to actually break down these kind of frontline tankers, because teams try to pick it, try to beat it, they just cannot find a good hero combination to do so, because there's just so much damage output and so much tankiness just from these two heroes alone. Yeah,
they didn't go for the Darks here. They did, of course, we saw for LGD International, they ban out the Clockwork, which, I mean, I think that's a great choice against Rattlesnake. Force Kabu out of his comfort zone, because his comfort zone is owning everyone with some sick hooks, some really well-placed cogs. Force him to play something different, see what he could do on other heroes. But like you were saying for LGD International, I personally feel this Lifestealer Lone Druid combo is the strongest possible opening, especially in the Chinese scene. According to Bruno, it has about a 58% win rate. I think that might have been from a limited set of stats, because he said there were only like 48 games total, and it was like 28 and 20 when teams had the combo. But I feel like the win rate is probably higher in Asia, and even if the win rate isn't higher, I would say in the hands of a team that knows how to use these heroes, it certainly is. And, well, they get that combo. Rattlesnake, one thing going their way is they have RP. They do have Demonic Purge and Disruption, so they have lots of counter carry tools. They're going to need some sort of hard carry now, or at least a strong semi-carry. Rattlesnakes have not been known for going for the hard carry, so I say hard carry, but it really shouldn't be one. And I like the Juggernaut ban from LGD International. It could have been something they look to use with the Lone Druid, but already having the Lifestealer, they're not going to go for it, and they don't want Rattlesnakes to have that easy, aggressive trialing, because Rattlesnakes is an aggressive team. So banning out the aggressive carries, the Juggernaut, the Weaver, and then just the strong pusher in the Lycan.
Yeah, also to me, Rattlesnake's a team that is capable to surprise you. I mean, last time we saw them solo mid-Juggernaut, I think it was, and they do a lot of other crazy things. Gyrocopter is going to be the pickup here for LG Gaming, and I'm assuming Misery will play this one. The issue for me for LG Gaming's lineup so far, not an issue, the good thing about them is that you'd never really expect to know what they do, right? They could go for the ultra late game, or they go for the early game, and in fact, how do you predict this laning? We expect it's going to be a Lone Druid solo, and then Lifestealer trialing with Rubik and Gyrocopter, but they could switch it up with a drop of a hat. Lifestealer could go long lane, any of these heroes could mostly go long lane, or solo mid. The versatility of this lineup is just insane.
Yeah, the heroes are very versatile. Just because we've seen LG International run this type of lineup, I'm going to say aggressive tri-lane, Lifestealer, Rubik, support Gyrocopter for Misery, and then we'll see that strong solo mid for G. Maybe something like a Templar Assassin who can handle... We could even see the Lone Druid mid versus the Mag, and maybe they send something else to the safe lane, but I do expect the Rubik Gyro in an offensive tri-lane. Maybe the Lone Druid goes mid, maybe the Lifestealer goes safe lane, and they pick someone else up as the third hero in the tri-lane, but definitely expected aggressive tri-lane. They could even run a Brax Gyrocopter, a safe lane Lifestealer, maybe for Pycat. Well, Pycat plays the Lone Druid is the thing. So, yeah, I'm thinking with this Queen of Pain pick, probably a Lone Druid safe lane, something for G yet to be determined going mid, and then the tri-lane with the Lifestealer. But anything is possible for them.
Yeah, and let's go to the Queen of Pain pick right now. I personally dislike this pick very much so. I mean, imagine the mid game where Lifestealer and Lone Druid is sieging down your tower. What exactly Queen of Pain is going to do? She's probably going to have BKB blink in and try to initiate. She's going to drop her spells, which is going to be good, but after that, she's just gonna get right click down, or she just have to back off. I don't think her output, damage output, is gonna be enough, and Silencer is gonna be the last pickup here. So I imagine that's gonna be the Trailing Farmer with Gyrocopter and Rubik, and of course Lifestealer on the off lane or in the solo safe lane.
I'm leaning towards Silencer mid, Lone Druid safe lane, and Tri-lane with the Lifestealer.
And the good thing is, when you have 5 heroes picked up and you still don't know 100% for sure what the lane's gonna be, you have done a great job in the drafting, because that's exactly where you want to be.
The thing is, like the Lone Druid can do well against Queen of Pain or Magnus, but I think the concern is gonna be a Silencer safe lane. Well, he can be annoying versus Magnus. He's not going to be able to keep him out of lane. And he's also, I mean, he's away. Actually, it could work, yeah, because he could just get the global silencer and help the tri-lane that way. But I kind of like the idea of putting a mid more. Lone Druid, if you put him on that safe lane, coming to gank him is such a huge investment. And he can pressure the tower. That's something the silencer cannot do. Sure, you can push mid tower, but that's easier to smoke gank and prevent. So they go for the Alchemist. Now, we've been seeing this. I actually saw this played twice today as a support by Mouse Sports, but it's going to be Lau playing it. So it looks like it will be a farmer for them. In the old days, it would be Lamb playing that carry role, but now he is a support. And I got to say, he's really been sort of the unsung star of this Rattlesnake team. Has been Lamb, just playing such a versatile support role and coming after his carry days back for eHome at the International 2, where, frankly, they got farther than they probably should have, just on the back of some great Tiny Wisp play. But here they are. And Rattlesnake, I mean, we've looked at the draft specifically, Lumi, but how do you just feel these teams match up in terms of how the streaks they're riding, sort of their relative strength as lineups overall? Who do you just give the edge to based on what you've seen so far?
I like Rattlesnake a lot more for basically unpredictability. And of course, LG.int has that, I guess, bad rap of doing the same thing over and over again. And to be fair, hey, if it works, it works. Meanwhile, the Rattlesnake, you never really know what you're up against. I mean, Alchemist, again, like you said, unsung hero, being picked up for a lot of other European teams we've seen, but haven't seen Alchemist too much for the Chinese team. Exactly, let's see how Rattlesnake will run that. For me, this game, though, Asset Spray is going to be absolutely huge. You know the push is going to come, and it's going to be a long, slow push. And that minus armor, but more importantly, the slow damage over time, not only would chip away the creep wave, but also wear down the bear, make that Lifestealer as well as Lone Druid a little bit easier to kill. That's the big thing for me.
Oh,
Like it's going to be a solo mid Alchemist.
So on that note, we'll introduce the players, but I do want to make a quick note before we do that, which is I see some people complaining about the Dota TV audio lagging. If you're noticing a trend here, guys, it's when the games are on the Chinese servers that we have issues. Anytime it's on Singapore servers, I haven't really seen anyone report issues. Unfortunately, it's out of our control. It's nothing to do with our connection. It's nothing to do with our end. It's basically just the Chinese server. Well, and maybe it's the connection, but it's not our issue exclusively. It's something to do with using the Chinese servers for us that causes issues, as we haven't had any problems on the Singapore one, so I do apologize, but it's either something Valve can look to fix or even just out of their hands entirely. And if that's the case, there is a 2-minute delay on the stream, so my advice to you is turn on the stream audio, mute the casters' voices in-game, and then just use the stream audio along with watching in-game if you want the full Dota TV experience. But with all that being said, we'll introduce Rattlesnakes. Kabu gonna be playing the Magnus. We'll have Lamb on the Shadow Demon, and we'll have Sag playing the Leshrac. An offensive tri-lane Mag. It will be Lau on that Alua playing the... I've been told that my pronunciation on this name is not very good, but he's playing the Alchemist. Icy on the safe lane Queen of Pain.
So meanwhile, LGD is going to be doing a switch here. They did have Brax... they did have Pycats, Lone Druid on the bot. Now he's moving up top. On the mid lane, it's going to be G's solo mid silencer. I'll talk about that in a bit. 1437 playing the support Rubik. We do have Misery on the support Gyro as expected, and Brax last but not least going on bot lane here. Brax, though, he does have the Invis ring being picked up. I don't think he was seen when he's picked up, but he's walking in like you're... and perhaps trying to get that kill. There is Skewer available on Magnus, but not on these two supports, and there's open win on Lamb, and here we go, Rocket Barrage doing a ton of damage, immediate disruption here, and there's Split Up afterwards, Skewer backwards, none of that available, and Brax will be walking out just fine. I think the solo mid silencer is going to be big, simply because it's going to be a mech rush, and mech really sustaining this push is going to be absolutely huge.
So anyway, with that being said, I was just checking the chat here, and yeah, guys, like I said, the Dota TV, nothing we can really do to fix it on our end. Threshold is at a minimum for both of us, so it's not anything on our settings. They are correct. They were working properly for Singapore host, but we do apologize for any issues. So on that note, well, it's going to be Brax, 1437, and Misery on this defensive tri-lane, and I mean, it's hard for Rattlesnake, right? They don't have a hero like Keep of the Light, so they can't easily contest the pull. And I'm not really convinced they're going to be able to get much accomplished. In theory, they have kind of a cute gimmick where you disrupt someone, and then you set up a Split Earth into a Skewer, but in practical terms, you're probably catching Lifestealer, and that's not an easy hero to kill, so I like the position for LGD off the bat. I think they're getting the trades now, as they got already one pull, and even though they've warded this camp, they'll get even a double pull off of it if Misery does it properly. That's going to give it a big experience bonus to them. Looking at the mid lane, Silencer winning that one pretty handily, 7-4 versus a 4-1 Alchemist. And then the off lane, something Pycat will dominate as a lone druid against Queen of Pain. Well, maybe not totally dominate because she's safe lane, but should have the edge. So LGD winning all 3 lanes right now, but this could turn things around maybe. Lamb going for a gank here.
Yeah, he took a ton of damage, but he's going to set up the Split Earth, and the Skewer is going to be followed through as well. There's going to be a first blood for sure here, and Kabu's going to pick it up on Magnus. I guess this lane looks a lot weaker than it actually is. Rattlesnake, this is not the first time they run off-lane Magnus. The last time it was so damn confusing. I think you and I were casting that game, but this one, they're not that bad in terms of actually challenging that push, because Shockwave has a very, very long range, and the damage output is not bad, and especially if they go Lightning on the track at level 2, they could easily blow up the entire creep wave very easily. Just a couple of nukes.
Well, now it gets a lot. Getting that kill is huge for them. Frankly, Misery just getting greedy there with the double pull. He saw the rotation. They have an Observer Ward, and, well, by the time the haste was picked up on Shadow Demon, he tried to run, but it was far too late, and I mean, you just have to play more defensively when your team is all the way over in the lane and just gets a little bit greedy with the pulls. He'll pay for it with his life. Once Rattlesnake gets that first kill, now the lane gets a lot harder, because the big thing is Shockwave isn't really that good for contesting the pull at level 1, but now it's getting close to level 2. The Leshrac, as you mentioned, if he wants the Lightning, he'll have it, but he's actually going Edict, which will be great for catching heroes out. And the other big thing, they'll have boots. Kabu has boots. Now the Shadow Demon Lamb has boots, and Sag, the only one who doesn't. He doesn't really need them, so because they got that kill, I would say a tri-lane that could have gone LGD.int's way. Not that they can't come back, but it gets much harder for them from here.
Yeah, they have to play a lot more passively, play a lot more defensively, and when you have the availability of the pull and really can't do it because you gave up that first blood, that really puts you kind of in big trouble. Back in the mid lane here, Luo may be losing out in terms of the farm race right now, but I feel like once he turns level 6, the lane gets a lot different, because he's basically going to have infinite regen apart from the bottle curling. So meanwhile, Brax also kind of taking a lot of harass here, coming from the 2 600 range heroes, and obviously his 2 supports can't do too much. Misery, 350 attack range, and of course 1437 has to stay back and be on defensive duty because of that telekinesis to lift.
Misery's really getting aggressive here. If he gets caught by a disruption and then he gets skewered back, he's dead. And maybe LGD is just thinking they could turn the fight around. Of course, something worth mentioning is disruption is fantastic against a Gyrocopter's Rocket Barrage. Because, I mean, something that you'll learn the hard way if you ever try to solo mid as Gyro versus a hero like Shadow Demon is Rocket Barrage does nothing for you. Just being disrupted, the barrage is only going to hit the illusion, so it won't damage any heroes. Not to mention it's going to create setup. So, actually very dangerous for him to get caught out, and he can't rely on just spamming barrage and getting kills that way. We will have some significant delay, and hopefully things will settle down a bit. Players seem pretty good in terms of ping, and we'll have a quick unpause.
Yeah, I do believe the old patch where if you rocket barrage and you get disrupted, the missile will still fly out of nowhere.
That's true as well. Now they don't even fly out, so
exactly,
it's another reason he's worse against Shadow Demon.
So it's actually a pretty tough matchup here for Gyrocopter, but he's going to try to do for another pull, and they should have enough ward coverage to see it coming. But with that said, I mean, a lucky rune like
a haste, yeah.
Yeah, like a haste. Could definitely turn around. There won't be a haste anytime soon, but mid lane also top. I mean, everywhere right now, the lanes is not favoring on the Rattlesnake, and that makes it so much more important that they're getting these exchanges. They're going to try to challenge that pull. Kabu gets lifted up, taking a ton of damage. You got to skewer out. It's going to skewer up north, but it won't be enough as Brax is going to pick up that last hit. So getting a little bit greedy on the challenge, and they're definitely going to pay for it.
Yeah, that was a really nice telekinesis lift. He soaked up a full rocket barrage. There was no disruption there either. The other issue, there was Shadow Demon in range, but by the time Lamb could get it off, I guess the damage was already done. He didn't want to disrupt the Magnus and then let them set up again. But had he just been there right away, would have worked a lot better. So slightly not on the same page in Rattlesnake's case, and it just shows you how strong LGD.int's tri-lane is, that even after they give up the first blood, they can still come back. We said it would get harder, but we didn't say it would be impossible, and what we see here is, well, they make it happen. And now they'll try. If LGD.int just hang on to the tri-lane, they're going to win these lanes pretty handily. As mid lane going well for the Silencer, top lane going very well for the Lone Druid. Both solo lanes doing quite well right now for LGD.int.
I mean, you expect the solo heroes on LGD.int to dominate, and that's exactly what they're doing so far. My question is, what exactly is the Alchemist going to build for? We've seen Lothar, so Shadow Blade being the most common build for Alchemist. Maybe he's going to go for a little bit more team-oriented as item. Maybe Vlad's could be, I mean, aside...
I think Shadow Blade. I think it's just the best.
Shadow Blade's fine.
I think it's the best item this game because they have bursts with Shadow Demon, and sure, you could try and take it late game with Alchemist, going for some other items, or even like the utility pushing items, but Rattlesnake's lineup, it's going to be hard to push into LGD when there's a call down on the field, and particularly when Lone Druid and Lifestealer can split push and just be very tanky. So I really think the Shadow Blade is the solution, and with Acid Spray, you can look to get an early Aegis already as it is, maybe get a medallion on the support. So I just think Shadow Blade brings so much to the table in terms of map control for the team, and you're not wanting to take it late when you're up against Lifestealer, Gyro, even as a support, and a Lone Druid. I think it's just too risky.
Well, we'll see in about a couple of minutes as he spends his big chunk of gold. Meanwhile, Smokegang going on the mid lane here. Let's see if Silencer expect this one. He does not have mana for his global, although it does have 4 wand charges. And of course, the damage output of this particular ganking duo is pretty insane. There is no stun available up on Alchemist, so the supports have to do the heavy lifting. They know exactly where he is as Smoke dispels. And this is going to be some big wraparound gank. Even Observer being dropped behind the tower. Alright, let's see. If there's a support TP coming in from 1437, he does have one. Misery does not. They gotta kill this one very, very quick.
They'll have the disruption, they'll have the Split Earth combo. He will have Global Silence, though. Can he get it off? If the Split Earth hits perfectly, he won't have a chance. It will, and that will be his death. Teleport coming in, but there's nothing this Rubik can do. 1437 should have canceled his TP. He may pay with his life as a result. He'll go down, too. I don't even think you can blame lag, because he's sitting on about 100 ping there. Just needed to cancel it, and didn't in the end.
Yeah, maybe it was like, you know what? Oh, Silencer died. I'm gonna get some free XP on the mid lane, and well,
wrong.
Thought process is correct, but it did not work out that way. The Acid Spray, and more importantly, the crucial level up there gave him the level to actually put that point into Unstable Concoction, and that made that kill a lot quicker and a lot easier. Luo going to Secret Shop. We're gonna see a no, not Secret Shop. He just want to set up a gank up on the top lane here. Shadow Strike on Pycat. Is he gonna walk all the way in?
I don't know if they can get this kill. He's in bear form now. They may end up giving some up, but the teleport was already used on the middle lane. Now the global is forced out. Call it a victory. Brax forced to TP, global force in exchange for just an Alchemist walking top. I'll take that any day of the week if I'm Rattlesnake.
Yeah, actually, that was a very, very good win here. 140 seconds on global cooldown. That's pretty big. They can make that gank on the mid lane now a lot easier. And shit, well, all they need to do is disrupt opening. As long as the silence is over, they could just go for it.
Yeah, and right now, Rattlesnakes, they're getting farm in the bottom lane. Kabu, up to 1,000 gold. I wonder if maybe we'll even see him... Well, no, he's going to get his Arcane Boots now, but he's got his ult coming soon. Alua, as you mentioned, is... What has he bought, actually? The Shadow Blade? No, has bought Bottle and Treads, it looks like. So nothing big for him yet, but just kind of tanking up. Looks like he just wants to roam a lot this game, and I think it fits their lineup. They have great gankers, good roaming, good burst damage, and LGD.int are a bit squishy on their backlines. The Lifestealer, the Lone Druid are not easy kills, but the other 3 are quite easy to bring down. So I like the style Rattlesnake is snowing, and plus it just fits what they've been doing in the previous matches, which is constant pressure, aggression all over the map.
Yep, power treads picked up here, and he's fairly tanky at this point, especially with his ult, and it looks like he's... Well, it's gonna take a little bit of damage, gonna get lifted back, but he should be under no big trouble. Even with the tower focusing him, even with last war on top, his ultimate is pretty imbalanced and will survive through that one.
I don't know if it's imbalanced, but it is pretty good at keeping you alive, that's for sure.
I mean, if you look at it on paper, max level gives you 900 HP, 60 movement speed, a ton of attack speed.
Okay, he's got no base armor, he's a melee hero. Come on, Lumi, you can't call every hero balanced.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm starting to feel like a little bit of League of Legends-esque just looking at it on paper. It does everything it feels like. But with that said...
There's always stats man to correct you. Don't make me get Bruno on the phone now.
Oh, Bruno. Alright, he is actually farming quite well on the mid lane. I mean, Silencer may be leading in terms of CS by a full 20, but Goblin Greed, or Grievel's Greed in this case, is going to be helping out a tiny bit there as well.
Brax has rotated top, and I kind of like this decision. He's the hardest hero to kill. I would say even harder than Lone Druid, just because he's got Rage. And Rattlesnake, sure, they can RP him, but if he gets the Rage off at the right time, they don't have much physical damage yet. They do have the Acid Spray, but they don't really have anyone who hits hard aside from that. So they're going to go in on Icy here, and there is a Leshrac, or Gyro rather, waiting in the trees. The missile will be thrown out. A Barrage needs to do some damage. He's not in range for a Barrage. There is a Global. Will they expend it here? It looks like they won't choose to. The Rocket now chasing in Icy. No regen, so this Rocket might be enough to get the kill. Teleport comes in from Luo, and it will drive them back. Now the stun. The chase goes the other way. Maybe cue the Benny Hill music, but no. We're going to see a smoke gank bottom simultaneously. Lamp as well as Sag looking for the wraparound. They want to make a go on Pycat here after the aggression of LGD International was thwarted. They know the gyro's not here, but can they actually find the opening? We'll have to see. The RP is up. They need everything to bring Pycat down.
I don't think they have enough damage output quick enough to actually bring him down. If nobody TPs in, they are going to get that kill, but you assume somebody will TP in, and especially if there's an Entangle on top, they could get a little bit of dicey here, but seems like they're not going to go for that. Also, I agree with you here. If they use the global and they do manage to get up the kill, it's completely worth it, but they just had no more stuns or no more slows to actually get that follow-up and kill, so they didn't go for it. Lamb gonna walk in, but there's the jig's up. They do completely know.
Yeah, wasted time for Rattlesnake, and I just want to point out this game, every support is pretty much sitting on a TP constantly. Rubik's been sitting on one Shadow Demon. Well, actually not right now. He just bought his Tranquil Boots, but he's been sitting on one generally. And of course, you always have Global Silence. There's a lot of counter initiation for both teams, so going for aggressive dives is really dangerous, and especially against heroes like Low Druid, Lifestealer, and even Alchemist, who's quite tanky.
Yep. G's still farming quite a bit, but looks like they're gonna set up a gank on the mid lane. There's a slow on top of them. Ultimate being used as well. Shockwave, Skewer being used, RP. There's a global being used, but I think that global, well, is a waste. And
total waste. Unless they get a kill here, which it doesn't look like they're gonna get. The RP even thrown out on Brax. He has Rage. They'll be able to beat, not enough mana to give the full chase. Meanwhile, bottom lane, the Bear taking some Soul Catcher damage. Will it take a fall? The poison splashes in. That's 2 stacks. It would be not an... Oh no, it dies. I don't think...
creep, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if they got the experience either. They were a bit far away from it, so... Yeah, the global has just not been effective this game, and it's often the story of Silencer games. If you don't get good globals off... I think in this game it's okay because they have Lifestealer and they have Lone Druid, so they don't need pristine globals to make the lineup work, but... You do want those to hit in the crucial team fights later on. Now, not such a big deal, but later on could become a real issue.
Yeah, and of course with Lifestealer forcing out the RP, it wasn't the biggest loss. It was like a global for RP and a silencer kill, which is not, again, the worst. But like you said, those global has to be pristine. Looks like they're going to try to set up a gank here. They lift them up. There is no silence. And of course, the last word will be applying the silence after the blink, but Icy's out there.
There's Chemical Rage on 1437. He doesn't need Arcane Boots, I guess, as long as he's got this. But yeah, it's otherwise not a very useful spell, all things considered.
He's 1,000 HP with the Rubik at level 6.
Yeah,
pretty good.
Needs some damage, though. You probably want to reverse polarity here.
That's true. I mean, beggars can't be choosers. And meanwhile, they're going to set up on Kabu. They're not going to get a kill on Kabu unless they lift him up and toss him back, but 1437 might be seen. Here comes a slow siege on the bot lane, but all really Dire has to do is send Alchemist on the bot, throw down Acid Spray, and that push is pretty much done.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's done. I mean, it'll slow it down, but they have Launcher Bear, which will die a lot quicker with the Midas Armor, but you can tank to a certain extent, and it looks like it's... Well, the Acid Spray is thrown out, there's no glyph. Tower gonna drop unchecked, and no trade for Rattlesnake. Aside from some farm, but not getting the towers. So a good opening from LGD.int. And frankly, they can keep on doing this whenever RP is on cooldown.
Whenever RP and Glyph is on cooldown, because...
That's true.
To me, the Alchemist Acid Spray feels a little bit like the Luminous... not Luminous. Illuminate. It's not exactly that quick in terms of killing the creep wave, but eventually it will, and... over the course of 5 seconds, it does kind of feel like Illuminate. But without Glyph there, that tower will go down, and it did. So
Luo going for a Shadow Blade, it looks like, as he's just got enough now for a Claymore. I imagine he'll be picking it up any second, or maybe he'll save for the 1600 gold component. But what do you think about the trades we're seeing? Lifestealer, Lone Druid not getting... Actually, I think Pycat's got more. Does he have something on the Courier? No, is that it, really? I guess Pycat's a little bit poor, but Brax is quite fat. He's already got Phase Drums up. He's the highest farmer in the game. What do you think about the trades right now? It seems like LGD's getting the better end in terms of farm on core heroes, but... we will see a blink coming soon on Mag. So who do you favor with this?
I think it favors the Dire a little bit, but I'll talk about that as there might be engagement happening soon. I mean, generally with LGD.int, they get a lot of kills during the lane stage and they kind of snowball out of control. That has not happened this game. And because of that, LGD.int is playing with a lot less golden experience than they're usually accustomed to. And, they're playing against a few more towers as well. They're forcing the group up just for tier 1 towers. And they're even going to get denied. No, Lone's going to get the last global after Kabu skewers in. That's the global that you're looking for. Those are the important globals in a team fight. Lamb in big trouble as well. He's going to self-destruct, but he's basically tossing his life away. Yep, there's going to be a free kill. Those are, oh, Hero's ultimate being dropped out here by Icy. They're gonna get a kill on Brax, and I think that's the trade that they're looking for. They might lost the tower and I guess quote-unquote 2 supports, but getting a Brax means that its push is completely stopped, and they're happy for that one to happen.
On the side of LGD.int, they not only got that bag kill, they delayed the blink dagger. So big wins for both teams. LGD.int, I'd give them the slight edge because they got the tower last hit, and it went to Pycat, and he lived, and he's now up to 1,000 gold. But it was a pretty even fight, all things considered, and now you know the global's on cooldown. Every time it goes on cooldown, that's a window for Rattlesnake to look to be aggressive, and they have reverse polarity as well. So I think once they finish this blink dagger, which should be in the next minute or so, actually, no, he had to buy a TP scroll as well, so even further delayed. Top tier 1 gets denied. That would have been his blink almost if he had gotten the last hit. They'll charge in, though. There's your skewer. There's no global to save him, but the backup is coming. There's 4 heroes converging on this lane. This could be a huge overextension from Kabu. There's no lift, but the Chemical Rage will get him in range so that he can throw him back. The open wood's there as well. The cooldown flies out. Another death. The blink dagger even further delayed. And that has to be a massive victory for LGD.int. This blink dagger is now a good 3-4 minutes delayed.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys are wondering why LD is harping on the blink so much, is normally he doesn't need a blink. Skewer is good enough to set it up, but because there is a silencer, every time he skewers in, you're going to see exactly what we saw in the last team fight. He just can't get off that ultimate. In between skewer and, of course, the long cast animation of RP, there's more than enough time for G to react and get that global off. So he needs that blink badly. So I don't know if he needs to stack, pull neutrals and basically farm his blink, but whatever he does, he needs to get that blink ASAP, because these push is going to be coming fast and hard whenever that global is ready to go.
I gotta say, Luo is very underfarmed for an Alchemist. He's sitting on 53 CS and not even the top farmer yet, which generally an Alchemist would be. Now, Alchemist can catch up quite a bit, but we'll have to see when the catch-up comes. He's charging his stun right now. If they can get a full duration stun on Brax... Oh! Actually stunned the creep, and it didn't splash to Brax for some reason. Huh.
I don't think you could target it on the creep. So
well, maybe Mike Dota's just lagging then, because I definitely saw Rage after the stun landed, but
them Shanghai servers.
Yeah, I don't think you can target on the creep.
Blink a dagger. Well, that's gonna be their initiation here from Alchemist. I mean, well, you charge up a stun, you blink in, and you just go to town and throw on the supports. I imagine, because I imagine the lifestealer could easily rage it. The Pycat don't really care about it.
It's very gimmicky. I mean, it could be amazing, or it could be totally useless, right? It just sort of depends on how the fights develop.
I mean, the thing is, it's an Alchemist against a Silencer. That's the thing, that interaction we haven't talked too much about, because if he knows that you're charging, that's where I'm
charging, yeah. Oh, here we go. The blink in.
Oh.
The stun isn't there. He's actually getting fogged right now. He'll stun himself under the tower. Who needs the global that you mentioned when that's going to happen? Now the global comes out. Kabu being focused and driven away from the fight by Brax. The RP hasn't been used yet. Luo on the run. He's squishy. Misery, that's your support. Your 4 position, a big RP, but the follow-up isn't there. The Split Earth as well. They need another Scream or 2. They won't get it. LGD.int are too tanky. The Chemical Rage Rubik just won't die. Even he's living. Brax is living. Now they're chasing. Lamb on the run. Icy on the run. The additional open woods. This will be the death of yet another hero. The Mag died again. He's still losing his blink. Icy will die. And I gotta say, man, that was not the fight that Rattlesnakes was looking for. All but one die.
Man, it looked good when they initiated. I think Luo got a little bit greedy. He ticked off an extra 2 hits on the I think Misery he was focusing on, and because of that, Misery was able to fog, and when you stun yourself and the Disruption was forced to jump on him defensively, things got really bad. And of course, G dropped a really good global on top. RP was not used until much later, and that RP was basically used like a black hole, which means that there was no follow-up, just simply used as a stun, and there's really lack of damage. And right now, the Radiant says, alright, we just won a big team fight mid, let's keep push. G, by the way, in that team fight, dropped off at least 10-12 auto attack with Glaive, and he's throwing out a ton of damage at this point. And of course, mech being finished right now by G as well. LG just got a huge lead despite the start that Rattlesnake gotten. This is looking pretty bad for Rattlesnake right now.
They have the RP, they have the blink dagger now, but oh no, G in trouble. On the run, Luo giving chase. Icy is the one who might die first if there's ever an entangle. They don't even need it. They pick up the kill anyway. Now the chase goes the other direction. Luo, the rocket is going to chase him. If the bear gets an entangle or they get an open woods off, he will die. He blinks away. He is quite fast, and I think he will escape. But Kabu, forced to go farm that blink while this fight was happening. Didn't have RP either because of the way the last fight went, and it really goes both ways here. If RP's cooldown, LGD just go man mode. The big issue for Rattlesnakes is, like you said, the RP was effectively just a black hole. It just held heroes in place, and because Alchemist has gone Blink Dagger, there's no real damage at all. I mean, Empower eventually, maybe, but the nice thing with Shadow Blade is that Shadow Blade is not only a way to initiate and escape, it also gives you a ton of damage, especially an Alchemist, who has a very low base attack time, so he benefits more from additional attack speed than other heroes would when he's in his ultimate form. So I gotta say, the Blink Dagger, I'm just not really feeling it, especially now. LGD.int are just too tanky for it to work.
Yeah, and again, I mean, the setup is nice. If you catch Rubik, if you catch Misery, for example, and get that free kill, that's good. But, I mean, how often is that going to happen, and how reliable it is? Looks like it's going to go into the Roshan. Medallion Courage being picked up on Alchemist. That's the item that I think both of us were looking for, the minus armor with the Acid Spray, and of course Medallion Courage. That's a ton of pressure on the Spirit Bearer later on, but right now they're going to use that and go into the Roshan pit. And I think Alchemist getting this Aegis is going to be pretty big, because he's actually a huge tanking force in the middle of the team fight, and you got to stick a beer onto him.
Oh, they're coming.
Who actually give it to Queen of Pain.
I think that's good too. Alchemist he's got the Blink Dagger, and he's also the tankier one. So this lets Queen of Pain just jump in, maybe soak up some spells, and she delivers more damage over the course of the fights. Whereas Alchemist, he drops an Acid Spray. That's pretty much it. If Queen of Pain's getting off 3-4 screams in the course of a fight, I think it's okay. And ultimately, with the way this Alchemist is building, it's going to be up to Icy to be the hard carry. There's no way that Luo can carry when he's got Blink Dagger, Medallion, Bottle. That's so much gold into utility items, you won't be able to do damage. So I think the Queen of Pain is going to become their hard carry. Well, their one position anyways. This game goes later.
I mean, going back to the draft I talked about earlier, when I saw the Queen of Pain being picked up against Lifestealer and Lone Druid, again, like, she blinks in, drops her spells, which is going to be somewhat mitigated by the mech. But what do you expect her to do afterwards? I mean, a couple more screams is going to be nice, but against the Lone Druid and Lifestealer, they don't really care about that. So I really dislike the pick, and to be honest, dislike so much emphasis on that Queen of Pain. And the fact that Alchemist is not going for a carry build, more emphasis is placed on her. And I really don't think it's going to work out the way that they think it's going to work out.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to execute. That's the big thing. Because if they can, in theory, let's say they hit RP, they hit Split Earth, they hit Skewer, they hit the Acid Spray, they're cleaving with the Alchemist, the Mag's auto attacks, everything on 5, yeah, then Rattlesnake probably win the fight in a big way, but is that really going to happen when there's a Silencer on the field, and he's got Last Word, he's got Global, you have a Lifestealer who can infest inside someone, pop back out, maybe the Bear entangles you. Getting that perfect team fight is going to be tough. So if they get it, I think they have a chance, but the issue with running Queen of Pain as your carry is if she's the primary source of damage, then you rely on getting that big team fight, or things like Rage go off, Global goes off, and she doesn't do anything. So it could happen, it's just very hard to execute. Whereas for LGD.int, it's not really that hard to execute their lineup at this point. They just need a decent Global.
A big wrap around here, and smoking and Silencer is one of the big key thing, and of course Luo's going to stay here. He now knows the support is going to be on the right side. And the thing is, when is the global going to come in? That's a huge one, because, well, here we go. I see there's a global on him. The Age is going to be expended immediately, basically for free as well. And Luo, let's see if he's going to jump in. Yes, RP, that's on 3. And of course, Alchemist Sun does have AoE Sonic Wave to follow through. That's a huge team fight you're talking about. They baited out the Silencer ultimate, and now they're chasing for all these kills. Holy bejesus, that was beautiful setup. And well,
if they get it, it's incredible, and boy, did they get it there. Triple for Icy. That's almost his Scythe device, assuming he wants it, which I imagine he does, and that's going to put the Fear of God into the Lifestealer, who is actually rather tanky if he's not auto-attacking. Well, Lumi, we said it would be hard to execute, but you gotta say, LGD, I mean, they clumped. They just grouped the hell up all right here. That was an easy RP. Granted, they blew the Aegis. Give Rattlesnake credit for sending Icy in, but I felt like LGD just kind of ran the other direction, and I think they were just scared with limited vision. They didn't know where Magnus was, for sure, I believe, and I don't think they had vision of him. He's hiding in the trees here, and because of that, hits an incredible RP that just destroys LGD, wins a fight, a massive fight at that. Wow, they needed that, and now they're actually ahead. Look at the gold graph. It's like a 3K, 4K gold swing, probably a 6, 7K experience swing over the past 4 or 5 minutes, which is basically that one fight.
I mean, a lot of teams, when they try to defend against this Lone Druid Lifestealer combo, they defend it at the tower, they defend it at the racks, and they basically keep throwing spells out there, they keep throwing stuns and nukes at the bear. And it works, but it just takes way too damage on your heroes and your towers to make it work. But Rattlesnake says, F that, we're gonna make a loop around gank, a la the play from International, and I mean, it's looking like the play. That was pretty sick. Luo, by the way, seems like he's going for the heart. He's like, you know what, let's make me as tanky as possible up front. And it makes me facepalm a little bit because of Chemical Rage, and he has all the HP he ever needs with Chemical Rage, and he's done being even more HP on top instead of getting some armor item. But I guess he's playing that quote-unquote utility role, so it's not that bad.
Yeah, he'll still. I guess their job for Luo is just kind of to be the one that soaks up the spells while Queen of Pain does the damage. And against Lone Druid Lifestealer, in some ways it does make sense, right? Because Alchemist is a melee hero; he can be more easily kited. I just feel like it's kind of a waste to pick a hero like Alchemist, run him as a farmer, max out Goblin's Greed, and then, well, he is the lead farmer, but I feel like he doesn't have items. I mean, he does. It's not to say he doesn't, but it feels like he doesn't do a whole lot, and I guess in reality he does more than what his inventory suggests. Is that fight, I mean, that was big. That was a big-time stun after the RP.
Yeah, I mean, he's mostly played as the acid spray thrower instead of from the damage dealer, which is something different, and it's working out so far okay, but to be honest, it's mostly the Magnus that's really been carrying them. But, I mean, eventually, Luo is going to be throwing out the big deeps. I mean, now he isn't, but now he's doing his role. Eventually, he's going to do more than that, and that's got to be scary if you're LGD.int.
I'm really curious what LGD.int's going to do from here. That's the kind of fight that could just get your team on tilt. They just got wiped, and it was kind of one of those silly things where, you know, you get caught by a 4-hero RP, and the way they were clustered was just begging for it. They are smoked up top now. Let's see if they can maintain their composure, as Rattlesnake went for a bit of a rotation bottom. They won't find anything, and LGD.int, they're going to take a tower here. As long as they maintain proper discipline with their positioning, I think they'll do okay in these fights. They still have Lone Druid Lifestealer, who are pretty tanky at this point. We'll see the initiation coming from Rattlesnake soon. They're going to defend this tier 1. The Glyph has already been used. The Bear will be in the back lines. Misery on the side. And the support's even farther back. I really like the spread from LGD this time around. And Lumi, look at what they've done. They have observers and sentries out in the jungle, so they're not going to be caught unawares by the backstab again.
Yeah, I mean, if Rattlesnake needs to take that fight, they need to take it with the smoke. They cannot go in heads on. Not through the global, not through the bear. There's just too much stuff in the way. But right now, LGD.int, after taking that tower, they're up 2 towers, but down 2k gold. And that's really the farm difference, the team fight difference so far. Rattlesnake is going to be looking to defend this last tower. Any smoke up the support, there is one on Shadow Demon, who, by the way, also has a 4-staff.
Lamb is getting farmed
as well. Yeah, he is.
And Ghost Scepter on Leshrac is going to be so annoying. This is going to really irritate the Lifestealer and the Lone Druid, these 2 items.
I mean, the big thing is it's going to allow him to later on to walk in with Post Nova up. Post Nova level 2 to be exact. And that's going to be pretty annoying for the supports as well. So you look towards that to make that play by Neo.
Look at it. Even Luo has gone Ghost Scepter. So pure utility for him. I wonder if he'll even go something like Ethereal Blade, and then you could just Ethereal Blade the bear and make it totally useless in the fights.
I have no idea what Luo's building right now.
Yeah, let's not even try and guess, because we clearly do not know anything about how he plays Alchemist.
So, I mean, just put this in perspective. That was a Strength Transfers into a Blink Dagger, into a Medallion, into Vid Booster. That's the big, you know, head scratcher, and then back to Gold Scepter. Like, this is some next level item. But here's a smoke. There's no push coming their way. They're basically going to be using this as an uphill gank kind of method. Let's see if it's going to pay off.
It's a little bit suspicious to a certain extent. Top lane's pushing pretty far, but it's far enough out that LGD won't expect someone to come defend that for probably 1 more wave, during which time Rattlesnake might get the jump here. They can catch Brax. They have RP. Will there be the backup? Remember, there's a Blink Dagger in 1437. He's picked up his utility item, so maybe we'll see Reverse Polarity stolen in this fight. They'll go on Brax, but Luo forced to tank for the moment. Lamb on the way back. The Bear is going to lead the charge in the jungle as we see a Blink, a Hex. They need to bring him down quickly. Oh no, he's got Infest. He will Infest inside a creep, and now the chase goes the other way. Skewer and Blink in, but the silence is there, so the RP can't come out from Kalbu. He'll die without getting it off. What a brilliant global from God Kill Them All, turning the fight. Lamb the next to fall, and without that big RP, we really see it, Lumi. Their team fight relies completely on the reverse polarity.
The Blink Dagger was picked up by Alchemist simply just to avoid that happening, to give you that initiation even against Lifestealer. Blink up and throw that stun, but Lifestealer Rage is instant, or close to it. Meanwhile, the Alchemist stun is not. Global may be down, but of course a full HP Bear, they're going to go in right now. Alchemist not in position to drop off his Acid Spray, and that tower is going to sustain a ton of damage. Buyback, though, is going to force everybody back because there is Magnus RP and there is no global silencer. So
I love this play. Look at LGD. They're going to back off when the RP is up. They'll TP out, but Misery pings Roshan. They know it's coming soon, and they're going to get right back there as soon as they clear mid. So I think they're playing this really smart in the mid game, and that's something that LGD has struggled with, right? Their early game's so incredibly strong, but sometimes we see them really just kind of struggle to seal the deal and make all the right decisions in the mid to late game.
Yeah, I mean, their lineup is generally built for the early to mid game and have that advantage to kind of snowball and grind out that win. But I guess this game, they could definitely go late silencer, throwing out a ton of deeps. Pycat, of course, could always go pretty late. Brax perhaps is going to falter off a little bit because of, you know, his hero's melee and has trouble chasing support heroes, especially when they have Ghost Scepter and Force Staff. But like I said, Roshan back very, very soon, and both teams starting to ward and de-ward up. Misery going for a blocking or blink skewer upwards, and well, that's maybe why you
See ya, Misery.
That's why you don't go for those.
Now a Purge on Brax on the other side. He gets hexed up. There is an RP. There's a Blink RP. Will he go for it? He's not going to. Oh, actually, the Blink was canceled by something. Might have been the Shadow Poison damage. There's a Blink in. They'll take the Rubic out, or the Night Lifestealer out. Brax will come back to the fight. I'm actually not sure. Did he steal Acid Spray there? No, Shadow Strike. Maybe that's what it was. G on the run now. Another Blink in. Another Shadow Strike, and this will be the death of G as well, as Icy cleans that one up. He is starting to really accelerate his farm. And oh, by the way, Luby, they've gone 4 Ghost Scepters now. 4 Ghost Scepters and a Force Staff. Who needs damage?
Well, there is nothing but physical damage coming out on the Radiant side, so multiple Ghost Scepter is going to be nice. They're going to force out all these buybacks, which means, oh, Alchemist's going to blink up and initiate again here. It's going to be on Pycat, but here comes Brax after Global. Ghost Scepter number 1 being popped. Of course, they have a ton of Global. Ghost Scepter, Kabu does not have that Ghost Scepter. He gets disrupted. He gets Force Staff back out. He's finally going to die. But that's a ton of damage being dished out by the rest of the team. Brax going to be focusing down. Stun gets dropped here by Luo. He needs to pop his ghost. He does, but he can't make it out of the life. Can he blink out? No, he does not.
When it comes to a fight like that, Ghost Scepter's only... The problem with going mass Ghost Scepters when you don't have damage is it only delays the inevitable. I mean, you can pop Ghost Scepter and then you just stand there while Lifestealer's raged. Neither of you hits each other. Then the Ghost Scepter wears off, and then you die. And that's what we're seeing right now is... Mass Ghost Scepter, not really a good way to win fights. It's just a way to help keep your supports alive and potentially avoid losing them. There will be, it looks like there's a buyback from Luo, but what can they do? There's no RP, there's no Magnus. They can't take this. They'll try.
Jump, stun right now. It's gonna steal the Age. It's gonna focus on the bear. No, it's gonna be on G, but G's so tanky. Meanwhile, Luo not tanky enough despite everything. The armor, the HP, he's gonna go down. Queen of Pain goes down as well. G barely survived. He's gonna die to lightning, but it doesn't matter because Brax is gonna pick up the Aegis. Meanwhile, Neo's on the run. He does pop the Ghost Scepter. Here comes Magnus. He does have RP, but he's not gonna use it to save his Leshrac. All stuff that's ended right now. The Dire is so far behind with that Roshan going towards LGD, and well, the live heroes, that bear is going to be mauling on the tower.
It's great. LGD are just showing great poise in this game. They gave up that massive team fight bottom. A lot of lesser teams would have just gotten on tilt from that, gotten frustrated, continued to make mistakes, and let Rattlesnake. Because Rattlesnake's is great at exploiting your errors and forcing them, but that hasn't happened this game. We'll see a Blink Skewer. It will catch Misery, but he's only that support. He's only that 4, and in fact, there's a Blinket from 1437 who wanted to steal something big. Right now he's got Empower, and that bear hit it even harder. Looks like they're going to get racks off of this. There's 3 heroes dead. They're coming soon. Open wounds on the Lamb, who doesn't actually have Disruption. He's got no Force Step. Blink RP by Kabu. Was it stolen? It was. There's no mana for it right now, but they're going to get racks, and now they have an RP to work with. They can go for 2 racks, maybe after they go back and heal. If that... Yeah, I mean, I guess they'll back and heal, and then they'll go again, and I don't think Rattlesnakes can stop the second push. Not with an RP and soon to be a global, now back up on G.
I thought that was a really, really bad global being dropped by Kabu. Yeah, Kabu. I mean...
You mean RP, yeah.
RP, sorry. That was their last line of defense. If they're ever going to win a team fight in the next minute or so, it's going to do a smoke and that RP, and hopefully getting that same team fight as they did earlier on that bot tower. Now they can't even do that. And of course, what are you using it for? You're using it to save a Shadow Demon. Doesn't matter if the Shadow Demon lives or dies. In my opinion, it does not. So now Rattlesnake gonna be settled to farm jungle, and I don't think farming jungle is what they need to come back from this.
I think they need a 5th Ghost Scepter. That's the secret.
Well, maybe. Dude's going for
They really need damage. I mean, that's the issue, is where are you going to get that damage from? Icy, even if he wanted to build it, he's not that farm. Magnus has gone utility, the standard mag build. We're not seeing that Dendi carry mag. No Mask of Madness, Battle Fury, or anything like Daedalus, anything like that. And Luo, Plate Mail, just more defensive items. I just think they're going to lose in a war of attrition, but the defensive items force it to be a war of attrition. They don't help you just end the fight. They don't help you just win it. I guess they've kind of, the dice have been cast at this point, right? You can't really go back and change your item selections this late, but it seems like they're backed into a corner now.
They're definitely back into a big corner, and here comes LGD. I mean, they have everything available. The big thing is global. Let's see how good it is going to be. And he's staying really far back, or he should be.
LGD International, they're pushing down that bottom lane. The Bear, AC is not up. He actually went, Pika just went for Vlad, so you still get that plus armor R for your team. You get a little bit of damage on the Bear as well, and they're going to work away on this tower. Look at it melt. Look at it just melt. We'll keep an eye. There's a Blink Skewer. It will catch Pycat. It brings it back in. There is an RP, but they don't want to blow it just on Pycat. They want to try and bring him down with that Ghost Scepter. He is taking a lot of damage. He's soul catching up as well. He's still alive, though. And Sag, the first one to fall. Now, on the backlines, it's Kabu, who still has not found an RP. Icy's dropping low. There's your Blink. There's your RP. Beautiful at that, but the follow-up isn't going to be there. Queen of Pain throws in the ult. They get a few. Maybe they'll defend with that sensational global. Brax at full HP, diving the fountain while his team fights elsewhere. Now he'll back off. He's the one with the Aegis. They still got 2 lanes of Rex. They got that melee Rex as well. Not the smoothest plays from LGD, but I think it's enough. In fact, I think it's more than enough.
It's definitely enough. Brax still retains that Aegis. Global, I mean, it wasn't a game-winning global there, but it delayed it long enough. Oh no, Luo blinks in thinking he can man up. Not against this team, not at this stage of the game. And that's going to be it here. 2 lanes of Rex going to go down. Of course, they're healthy to take that last lane of Rex. Lamb calls GG. And again, I just want to go back to the draft. If you rely on Queen of Pain to be a damage dealer against this lineup, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work.
It needed a perfect game. If you want to do something like that, it just has to be a perfect game. And getting a perfect game against the team of LGD's caliber is incredibly difficult. And I just think giving away Lone Druid Lifestealer, every time I see this combo giving away, 9 times out of 10, it ends up backfiring for the enemy team. It's just such a strong opening. It's one that LGD International love to run because they love the aggressive tri-lane anyway, and picking the Lifestealer allows them to do that if they want to. They love their roaming, and picking the Lifestealer allows them to roam while still getting some farm out of the off lane. And hey, they love their Pycat Lone Druid. So a great draft from LGD International. An unusual one for Rattlesnake, and Kabu not playing that clockwork. It felt like his RPs were on the mark, but Mag can only have an impact every couple of minutes. Clockwork can have an impact every time his cogs come off cooldown, and I feel like ultimately it was just the lack of damage from Rattlesnake that sealed the deal.
You said it better than I could have, for sure.
Well, Lumi, this wraps up game number 1. I don't know if I said it better than you could have, but we've said it in a billion different ways. So it will be LGD International taking game 1 in the best of 3, but it is a best of 3, guys. We're not done just yet. We are currently in the group stages for the G1 League, locked in it in Group A. LGD International, boy, do they need this win. If they lose this series, they're 0-2, but it's looking good for them now. They take game 1 in the best of 3. They're leading the best of 3 1-0. Can they force the issue? Can they seal it 2-0? We'll find out after this. Stay tuned for more G1 League action coming up next.